Alrighty guys, we're gonna talk about area of triangles now, okay? Which is, of course, our fifth lesson in the chapter. And again, I'm gonna talk about a few exercises I figured out you could have had problems trying to do it. Not necessarily the hardest, but it's a matter of analyzing. Probably the third one is gonna be the hardest I'm gonna talk about. I will begin with number 9, okay? Now, if you think about number 9, again, it's just to find the area of an irregular shape. But this time, I'm actually going to cut the entire figure into 3 areas, all right? And so my total area is just gonna be the addition of those 3 areas, okay? Now, every time you work, I'm gonna ask you to please be as organized, okay? We need to actually be able to understand all the speech you're trying to tell me through your process here, okay? So the first area, of course, it's a triangle, and you need to remember that a triangle's area is gonna be base times height divided in 2. So the base here, it's gonna be 15 meters. How do I know it? Well, 15 here and 15 here as well, of course. And so I'm not gonna use the units yet. And the height is, since this is a right triangle, the height is gonna be this side, of course, which, as you can tell, is gonna be 8 meters. So it's gonna be times 8, and that divided in 2. Now, you know, I simplify, because my life is just easier that way. So I know this 8 is actually 4 times 2, so I can cancel the 2 and have 15 times 4, which is gonna be 60 square meters. That is the first area. Now the second area is just gonna be a rectangle, which is base times height. And we know that's gonna be 15 times 8, which of course gotta be 80 and 40, 120? Yeah, I believe so. 40, yeah, that's right. And so that's also 120 square meters, right? And then we have the third area, which is gonna be base times height divided in 2. And so the base is gonna be 6. The height is actually 8 again. As you can tell, it's the same height. Again, this is a right triangle, and divided in 2. So I again can just write down this one as 4 times 2, so I can cancel the 2's. And 6 times 4 is nothing but 24 square meters. See? I have 1, 2, and 3. Now we're just gonna get the total area, which of course is gonna be 60 plus 120 plus 24. And so that is gonna get me 204 square meters. Okay? That easy. Now, if you allow me, we're gonna work on a exercise that is not exactly on your lesson, but it's gonna give you a lot more of an illustration on how to work with irregular shapes and areas of triangles. Now, in this case, this looks like a star, right? Well, it's a star, but just probably a weird star one or something. Think about these triangles. They all are actually the same. So I just need to name the area once, and what I can do is to multiply by 4 later on, right? And then of course my square is gonna be area 2. Again, my total area, it's gonna be not only area 1 plus area 2, but I need to say 4 times the first area plus area number 2, just because I have 4 triangles, okay? I'm gonna find the first area, which is base times height divided in 2. And here, of course, they're telling me the base here, it's 4 inches, just because this is a square. And so I have 4 right there, times the height, which is 7, divided in 2. And we know this is 2 times 2, so I can cancel one of those, and so it's gonna be 2 times 7, which is 14 square inches, right? And then of course I know that's gonna be times 4, but we will do that in a minute. Later on when we work on the total area, okay? Now, second area though, it's gonna be the square, which we know is actually the length square. Or it can also be by base times height. It's just that we tend to use the square just because it has equal sides. So we know it's 4 square, which is actually 16 square inches. And then the total area, it's gonna be 4 times that 14 we got a minute ago plus 16. That's gonna be 40, so 56 on this side plus 16, and that's 60, and 12, 72 square inches. So that's gonna be your answer, okay? All right. Now problem number 15 tells us that the height of triangle DEF is 4 times the height of triangle ABC. So we know the area of triangle ABC is actually gonna be base times height divided in 2. That's the area, right? This is a different area. We're gonna call this area, I'm gonna use a different notation just to make it just different. And I'm gonna use a capital H divided in 2. Why? Just because the problem says that this height is 4 times this height over here. So what that means is that H is actually 4 times H. What is 4H? Okay? So then I'm just going to make that switch here. Like this. And then I'm going to operate this over here. So what I'm gonna get is actually 1/2 BH. You see it? Of course, because I'm just getting together all the variables, right? And then I'm getting the coefficient, which is 1/2. Now here, what I'm getting is 4/2 BH, which actually ends up being 2 BH if I simplify the fraction, right? Now, think about 1/2 and 2. How many times can I fit 1/2 in 2? Well, think about this. 1/2 times 4 is actually 4/2, which is actually 2. So 1/2 fits 4 times in 2.